Hello guys and girls, my name is Purple Hat Man and welcome to a brand new and very exciting series on the channel. In this series I'll be going over every major Incredible Hulk story I have read for around the last 14 years. But before we get started, I do need to run through a few things with you about the series. Firstly, I'll be doing the series in chronological reading list order, not necessarily the order that I read these stories in. I'll also be skipping any side or short stories, but I will tell you any key information if you do need to know it. In the interest of time, I have not gone back and reread all of the stories I'm going to be covering here, and I'll instead be doing them mostly from memory, which means I might make some mistakes, my memory isn't perfect, so there'll be a pinned comment down below with any corrections I need to make. And finally, this series is designed to follow the journey of the Bruce Banner version of the Hulk, which later on is going to be quite easy, but for the first section of this series, I'm going to call it, it's going to be more complicated and we'll actually end up following other stories involving many other Hulks. But with all of that said, please leave me a like and a comment if you enjoy this video. I am trying very hard to hit 1,000 subscribers this year, so if you could please subscribe to the channel, I'd greatly appreciate it. But with all that said, let's get into the story. So if the beginning of my time reading Incredible Hulk comics is marked by anything, it is the introduction of the Red Hulk. The Red Hulk's introduction came right off the back of Planet Hulk and World War Hulk, which are kind of the only two series you need to be familiar with to understand what's happening here. But there are so many videos about those stories already on YouTube, I'm just going to skip over them and pick up where they left off. So this story opens with General Thunderbolt Ross, Doc Samson, Jennifer Walters She-Hulk, and Tony Stark Iron Man in a destroyed village in Russia. And Doc Samson is basically telling us a story about a battle that happened in this village the night before. He says someone big entered here and hit the ground. You can see a Hulk-shaped footprint in the ground. It's like, okay, it's clearly the Hulk then. And he goes on to say that the Hulk landed and basically attacked the Abomination, who was hiding out here. And he does a little reenactment with She-Hulk, and he says that this fight was not a simple knockdown drag out fight, because the regular Green Hulk is always just throwing his weight around and relying on his strength to win his fights, and Doc Samson specifically describes that this was tactical. He was blocking punches, he was landing blows that were knocking the Abomination off balance, confusing him, hitting him in weak points and pressure points. It was systematically dismantling him. There was skill to the way this fight went down. And the description of the fight basically ends with the Hulk, in quotation marks, doing something completely unexpected, pulling a gun and shooting the Abomination dead. This is obviously very un-Hulk-like behaviour, and it's our first good indication that something is very, very wrong with the Hulk. Now, because this is Russia, our heroes are then confronted by Russia's superhero team, the Winter Guard. And they start trying to pull rank on these guys, being like, well, hang on a minute, this is a Russian issue, you guys have no business here, please leave. And rather predictably, this leads to a fight. But what the interesting part is here is that everyone is trying to be diplomatic, and it's Doc Samson who throws the first punch. The calm psychiatrist guy, whose actually entire job it is to help them calm down and work through their issues. He's the first one to throw a punch. It's very uncharacteristic, and you can actually see this green glint in his eye. Something's off here. But we all know this fight is happening because the writers know we just want to see superheroes fight each other. That's the whole reason, basically. The fight quickly comes to an end because although it was stated that everyone in this village was actually killed in the conflict between the Hulk and Abomination, which I don't know if that's a few dozen people or 6 people or a few hundred, but people definitely died here, there actually turns out to be a survivor, and it's this little girl who comes up to them just repeating the same Russian word over and over again, and that word is red. Now, if there wasn't enough mystery already in this story, we then switch over to see Rick Jones, the Hulk's human best friend, who wakes up in the middle of a snowy tundra in ripped clothes and next to a burning, I think it's an oil pipeline, and he has no idea why he's there. He doesn't remember getting there, he doesn't remember if he destroyed this thing, which how would he, he's just a normal human, and he does not know what is going on. We then see that Doc Samson and General Thunderbolt Ross are going to see a prisoner at Gamma Base. This prisoner is, of course, Bruce Banner, who has been here since the end of the World War Hulk storyline. They're basically here to pick his brains about everything that's going on with this new Hulk, because of course, if Bruce Banner is here and he hasn't left, who is this Hulk? Switching over again from that, we pick up with Iron Man and She-Hulk and Maria Hill, who are on board the helicarrier, which I should explain that at this time in Marvel, that Tony Stark was the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., so he was the Nick Fury kind of thing. But the point is that Iron Man is the head of S.H.I.E.L.D., he's the director. And Maria Hill is basically describing that the gun that was used to kill the Abomination is S.H.I.E.L.D. issue. Someone had to have stolen it from S.H.I.E.L.D. in order to have that weapon. And in the first of many, like, what the hell moments, all of a sudden She-Hulk is just grabbed through the wall by a pair of giant red hands. It's the Red Hulk. He kidnaps her. Iron Man and Maria Hill have no idea what to do, and all you can hear is like banging noises all around the helicarrier, and then She-Hulk just gets thrown back into the room. She's been beaten unconscious, and she is down for the count. Tony Stark obviously responds to this by doing the stupidest thing you could possibly do, and he says, "Don't worry, I'll go after the Hulk myself." So Iron Man goes looking for the Red Hulk, and he ends up in some like dark underbelly of the helicarrier where there's almost like no light. I don't know why there are creepy tunnels on a helicarrier, but apparently there are. But instead of him finding the Red Hulk finds him. As you can imagine, this does not end well. The Red Hulk absolutely creams Iron Man here. Iron Man throws everything he can at the Red Hulk, and it makes no difference whatsoever until the Red Hulk eventually smashes a full-size jet over Iron Man's head and then proceeds to crash the helicarrier into the ground, destroying everything on board. We then switch over very quickly to Rick Jones's perspective again. He's just arrived at Gamma Base where Bruce Banner is being held, and he's basically going to go and see him, we think. But before he can even make a move, he's attacked by a big red hand, and this person, who is obviously the Red Hulk, says he thought Rick Jones was dead, but that he can make sure he does stay that way. But in one of the most shocking moments in probably the whole story, Rick Jones's voice starts to get all gravelly, his skin starts to turn blue, and he transforms into my favourite and best looking Hulk of all, A-Bomb. A-Bomb is absolutely ripped here, he looks amazing, and he tells the Red Hulk that he's not going down without a fight, and that he will kill him. The fight between Red Hulk and A-Bomb is on. But before the fight between Red Hulk and A-Bomb really gets started, we switch back over to Tony Stark, She-Hulk, and Maria Hill in the wreckage of the helicarrier, and they're basically watching a recording of when Doc Samson and Thunderbolt Ross went to see Bruce Banner in Gamma Base. And we're basically shown a portion of the conversation where Bruce Banner says, "Hold on a minute, Thunderbolt Ross, come back here, I need to tell you something." And there's this bit where he goes, "Well," and you don't know what was said, be careful. That's the only two things you can pick out. Well, be careful. And no matter how much Iron Man like boosts the audio, he can't tell what's being said. Bruce Banner and Thunderbolt Ross had a secret conversation here. Something was said that they don't want anyone else to hear. Switching back over though, we properly get into the fight between Red Hulk and A-Bomb, and it is fantastic. This scene of them just initially clashing and wrapping their arms around each other and the force they hit each other with, it is just iconic. This fight is actually full of iconic moments. There's a bit where the Red Hulk rips a machine gun turret out the ground and just uses it on A-Bomb and just peppers him with bullets. It's just fantastic. I don't know why. He's a Hulk, so he's bulletproof, but it's still just fantastic to look at. A-Bomb puts up a pretty good fight here, but the Red Hulk is a lot stronger than him, so he does quickly start to get overpowered. But the point of this fight is that the Earth starts to shake with the impact of their fight, and Bruce Banner is in a cell underground from where they're fighting in Gamma Base, and his cell and all the surrounding structure starts to collapse. He holds his breath from the knockout gas that is designed to neutralize him, and he starts to bang on the glass, and his hand turns green, and he starts to transform into the Hulk. While that's happening, A-Bomb and Red Hulk have actually been separated by some robots known as Harpy robots that are designed to protect Gamma Base, and they actually have Betty Ross's like face, and that's because she actually used to be this kind of Gamma villain known as the Harpy back in like the 70s or something, so that's actually a reference to something that actually did happen, and they're designed to calm the Hulk down by having his obviously love interest's face. And it's while Red Hulk is tearing apart one of these robots, screaming that he's his own monster, that he's actually stopped by the Green Hulk. And the first ever fight between the Green Hulk and the Red Hulk is going to begin. And it's going to begin at the start of the next video. Yes, I am going to leave you on a cliffhanger there, but trust me, you don't want to miss the next video because the fight is epic. Leave me a like and a comment if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you want to make sure you catch the next video. Again, I'm trying very hard to hit 1,000 subscribers this year, so please help me out. But with that said, I have been Purple Hat Man, you have been a great audience, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in another video very, very soon. Bye-bye! And it's while Red Bomb is Red Bomb? Who the hell is Red Bomb? Oh, God.